the money that we had on the estimate, that did have architectural fees included in the 77,000 that we did have. So I don't know what his fee is exactly, but it is in that 77,000.
We just need Mr. Whitaker to tell us what he
With the
agreed to
exact
pay him
amount.
up front.
Table it till we get.
I'd move the table,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
but when he comes back, we can take it off the table.
Good deal.
All right. Routine item number 7, order authorizing Union Station Cafe lease agreement between Jamard Wright and the City of Meridian.
Move approval.
Madam President, Mr. Partridge continues to fill up Union Station with great vendors. Mr. Wright is a great photographer. I have Mr. Partridge here to answer any questions that you may have related to this contract.
I have Mr. Wright here present. He can tell you what kind of business it's going to be.
You're not going to move your photography business over there.
No,
are
sir.
you? Okay.
No, sir. Not
Just
at all.
great photograph.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your business, Bill.
Okay, well, you know, I've been on Front Street now with photography for 4 years. If you get a headache on Front Street, there's nowhere to get an aspirin. After 2 o'clock, jeans closed, there's nowhere to get a drink at this point. And we have 7 buses and 2 trains that come in daily to Union Station. Where I come from with business, you look what's missing and you attempt to put it there. So we try to just want to make it convenient for people as they travel through Meridian to be able to stop, get a coat, get something to eat and get back on the bus. But at the same time, if you have something, a problem like a headache or something like that, that you can stop and get it and keep moving.
Good.
Thank you for being an entrepreneur here in the city, and I think it's very intelligent to have something like that in that building so that it will not only be utilized by the people downtown in this area without having to run up to the CEFCO, but also by those who are coming in off the train and off the bus.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to try as much as possible to have it open when buses are in and out.
Yes, sir. That's our main thing. We looked at the schedule when they come from 6 in the morning throughout the day, making sure that they'll be open so we'd be convenient for them.
That's great.
That's awesome. Any other concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Routine item number 8, ad valorem tax exemption, the Congregation Beth Israel.
Second.
Madam President, this is a tax exemption. We are following the county on this. They have already given this tax exemption, and we are just creating some uniformity here with this exemption. You will see that we do have a diagram in the back as far as where these parcels are located, and this is a religious exemption.
Any concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Routine item number 9, ordinance authorizing update of compensation for election managers and commissioners.
Second.
Mr. Whitaker is trying to get your price on the architect right here, but this is just updating our ordinance to be able to compensate election managers, and this goes from $70 is removed and replaced by $150. This is section 8.3. Section 8.10 is going from $75 and replaced by $125. This is trying to get in more in line with what compensation is in other municipalities for election managers.
I always thought that was a little low.
70?
Well, all of them, they were a little low.
If we go from 7 to 7, that's a long day.
And that may encourage more participation and people to want to take an
Wanna do
active part in this
That is
election
exactly
process.
right. That's from Houston.
Mr. Whitaker, Mr. Walton, upon your recommendation, you feel this is a proper update and consistent with the law?
And this is in line with what the county is paying their people, or no?
Yes. Yes, this is.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Madam President, I do have Ms. Latimer that has come. She can better explain contract costs. is what was tabled on Archer Architecture.
Do I have a motion to read?
Move to
open?
take it off the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, sir, Mr. Whitaker.
On the Archer contract, there is no upfront payments. This is a normal construction contract pay. They will submit the AIA. Contract completion will pay on a percent complete basis on a monthly basis.
We just strike that whole paragraph.
Yes, sir.
What's the cost of the contract?
Total cost of the
Proceed.
estimate is $77,621.
Okay, thank you.
That includes his fees, I'm sorry.
No, that's the question.
And there is a $5,000 contingency in that amount.
So if we can just take it as a correction in the amount, we can just put a zero in that up.
That's correct, yes.
Don't have to take it out, just put a zero there. That'd be good. That's good.
All in favor with making those adjustments and approving this as we've discussed?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Good. We got budget amendments there.
Routine item number 10, fiscal year 2017 budget amendment.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam President, we do have 5 budget amendments right here. Chief Financial Officer David Whitaker is here to answer any questions you may have regarding each one of these.
You can just go through each one of them and help
Okay.
the public.
Budget item number 1 is to increase the fire department expense budget by $60,000, and this is to decrease the general government transfers and other charges by same amount. And this amount is requested because of the unfortunate insurance claim we had related to the September 16 fire truck accident involving 3 firefighters. The second budget increase is for community development capital outlay, and this is for $7,388, and it's for the purchasing of a vehicle for that department. The third item is a community development transfer and other charges of $27,200, and this is for the replacement of lights at the Crestwood ball field. The third item is to increase the community development transfer charges, same as above, by $25,000. And this is for the Choctaw Transit, $25,000 increase to there that we just discussed earlier. And the final is a budget amendment in the water fund from the anticipated cash balance and transfers of $41,000 for the certainty capital loan payments that we have an agreement with Lauderdale County. There is an interlocal agreement to cover these for these costs.
If we approve this, when will the improvements be made to Crestwood Park?
The lights will be
When will they be put
they'll be
in?
ordered fairly
What was that,
quickly and
Mr.
be done
Parker?
for the baseball season.
Mr. Magruder's here. He's been working on this, and this
No.
is part of being proactive with some of these poles. He does have prices on the poles and has been working with Mississippi Power.
Public
to
wants this
take-
done.
Yeah, it took about 4 to 6 weeks. You got to take the old poles down and reinstall them. Like 50 seconds.
So next week?
4 to 6.
I think
6 weeks max.
I think his next week was when you're gonna start.
Inconceivable.
Council approved, and we can get, we got 2 poles that we can get new parts from Mississippi Power Grid.
Good.
Looking at the second one, community development, purchase of a vehicle, any special type of vehicle, lease purchase, what are we doing on that?
We've been working to save money by cutting down on our cost of our older vehicles. We've been in the information gathering stage on how old each one of our vehicles are, collecting VIN numbers as well as mileage. This vehicle right here is going to be for cultural affairs. That division does the most traveling within a department for events. as well as having to carry around different types of promotional items. This will be, I believe, an SUV.
Let's go through our lease purchase program.
Yes, sir.
If you can buy one for $7K, let me know. I could use one.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Routine item number 11, claims docket.
Second.
Are there any questions on the claims docket?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is our presentation agenda, our mayor's report.
All right, good morning, council.
Morning.
I'm going to ask Ms. Jill Renee Walsh to come up for a proclamation. She's here. And Captain Griffith. This week is Crisis Intervention Week around the country, and we have a proclamation here for her team, for the team here in Meridian and Lauderdale County that handles a lot of our crisis intervention matters. Every year, thousands of Mississippians of all ages, abilities, economic, racial, and social backgrounds experience mental health crisis, and whereas law enforcement and other first responders are often the first point of contact with individuals during a mental health crisis, crisis intervention teams are evidence-based law enforcement, behavioral health, and community collaboration programs that improve community response to Mississippians experience behavioral health crisis. Whereas the establishment of the Intervention Team Awareness Month will recognize those individuals who have performed outstanding service to their community as crisis intervention team officers, first responders, mental health practitioners, trainers, and advocates, and will raise public awareness of the value of CIT programs in Mississippi and will help reduce stigma. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Percy Bland, the Mayor of the City of Meridian, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2017 as Crisis Intervention Team Awareness Month. Be that resolved on the 7th day of February 2017, and I call this observance to the attention of all of our local citizens. Thank you.
Would you like to say something, dear?
We'd just like to say thank y'all, and Jill has been with us with this crisis intervention team since we started, and she's a very vital role in getting our officers trained.
Good.
Second note is Arbor Day 2017 will be this week, February 10th at 10 a.m., which will be Thursday. Please join the Meridian Tree Commission and Mississippi Power as we celebrate Arbor Day. To help celebrate, Mississippi Power has donated free fruit trees to plant. We will have plum, pear, and apple trees. The students of St. Patrick's will present a short program to celebrate the trees and the value they bring to our city and to our lives. The event will be in front of St. Patrick's School, located at 2700 Davis Street in downtown Meridian. You must be present to receive your free fruit tree, and any questions or concerns, please call Greg Wilkes at 917-664-7255. This Friday, excuse me, this Friday.
What's the date?
Friday, the 10th at 10 a.m., St. Patrick's School. This Friday is the 10th. Sorry about that.
And the time?
10 a.m. This Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have our Meridian Area Job Fair again. We've been advertising and putting it around town with partnership with the Wynn Job Center, Mississippi State, MCC, and a lot of local radio stations, WTOK and MDES. City of Meridian will be having a job fair. Right now we have over 70 businesses that will be in attendance. A lot of them will be on site, possibly even taking resumes and doing some on-site interviewing. So for those out there that are looking for a job, please come out and join us at the Tommy Dulaney Center from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Thursday. The address is 915 Highway 19 North at the Tommy Dulaney Center. I want to thank our team for doing all that they have done to partner with Wynn Job Center to make these job fairs productive for our local citizens, not just in the city, but also in the county and surrounding areas. So for those that are listening today, we do have a big job fair this Thursday from 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. and come get your job. It's waiting for you. Last but not least, I'm going to have Mr. Hugh Smith come up. As you all know, we have been doing a lot of paving around town. It started Sweet Gumbottom Road. We've gone to 10th Avenue, 24th, 23rd, 29th, all in Phase 1. We will be continuing Phase 2 with a lot of our downtown areas before we target heavily our community areas, our local side streets and that sort of thing. The bottom line of it is, I want to thank you guys for what you all did to give us the money to be able to provide this service to our citizens, much needed service. It's been a long time since we've paved our streets to this magnitude. We also have equipment once we get our next group of hires in and get them trained, that we will be able to penetrate more in our communities, especially the underserved areas, with some of our own equipment that we have. And all the technical pieces of that stuff I'll let Hugh talk about, but again, a lot of people have been inconvenienced. Progress is hard sometimes, and we will be inconvenienced, but I want the citizens to know and the council that we're doing everything that we can, and APAC is moving so fast with a lot of these streets that we don't even have time to update it on TOK, because we update it one day and they're complete with that street, and we will be giving them information that is already passed. So APAC is doing a really good job. They've been a good vendor for us in the past. They do a lot of work on the highways, as you know. They have a lot of capacity, and they're moving fast to pave our streets. We also did Mosby Road and some other major roads, but we will be getting a lot of the Citizens Act. We will be getting to some of these other communities after we get through with Phase 1 and Phase 2. So I have Hugh Smith here. I know, Dr. Thomas, you sent us a lot of emails. I'll try to tell Hugh or his team to give you a weekly update on where we are with our paving plan. But if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask me at this time.
Same question I always have. When are we going to start using our own equipment?
We're scheduled to begin training in the middle of this month, actually. Some of that had to do with getting the employees on board, and also the vendors, which we bought some very reliable equipment. We didn't go and buy something secondhand off the shelf or a non-recognized brand. They have a conference in Vegas this time of the year every year. Most of those vendors or those trainees are at that conference, so it pushed us back a little bit in getting those people back here so they could train our folks. So we were actually impacted by the process of the industry. But let me say this, we're actually ahead of schedule on some of the main thoroughfares. The weather has been very cooperative. Last year this time, I had no idea we'd be paving in January. I don't think you guys did either. So from a standpoint of productivity and what we're seeing, we're actually ahead of the curve. If you recall the way the plan was set up, a lot of this stuff wasn't supposed to take place until April, or what we call early spring, depending upon how the weather broke. I think that the ability for us to get out and do so much so soon with APAC, who is a tremendous contractor, really is being understated.
We're going to be training on the side streets?
Correct.
I got some folks that figure we can't do any more damage and it can't make it any worse than it already is, so that would be a good place to start.
I agree with you 100%. Our goal was to go out to the main thoroughfares, look at some of our business districts, and then finish out with doing our neighborhood streets. So let me say we're on schedule. Actually, in some regards, we're ahead of schedule. I'm, very pleased with the progress we've made, and in the months to come and in the years to come, the work that you see now will be more appreciated and more realized.
This is going to continue for well over a year, probably a year and a half.
The in-house paving is not going to stop.
Right.
The way the program was set up was to buy the equipment so we could use it internally, hire the additional staff, and as the weather permitted to pave on an ongoing basis. One of the things that I think we've kind of gotten away from was the PCI index, the pavement condition index. We actually should have those proposals in, should have them in purchasing now. I have not received them, but we'll be going through those proposals to select a vendor to do the overall assessment of all the city streets and rank and file those. I know there are some streets that were looked at in the last round that definitely are going to be high priority. I'm not saying that we're not going to consider those, but I am saying we're looking to develop a program that's holistic, and we'll have a defined inventory of our city streets as well as the condition of all of them.
I think the council would appreciate when we get to the halfway point of the $5 million that we allocated for APAC, when we get about halfway so we can see what's been done, so we can explain it to people.
We're probably there now, and to piggyback off what the mayor's saying, we're moving at such a fast pace. We're ahead of the curve. So at our next work session, my intent is to come in and do a full disclosure and full presentation on what we've done, what we have, and what we can expect in the future.
See, that would bother me if you told me we were halfway through with the contract and that's all we got done.
Well, when I say we're halfway through as far as the items that were bid out, and I don't think you realize, Mr. Hammond, that
Clarify that.
Yeah, we've paved a lot of thoroughfares. Really the only main street left that has not been touched by APAC is 29th Avenue. If you drive and look at our main thoroughfares, we've done a lot. I say we, APAC being the contractor, a lot of work has been done. Not to disagree with you, but we've done a lot of work.
Couple of things I had. You spoke earlier about paving some of the inner city streets and allowing the individuals that are being trained to start on those streets and learn how to use the equipment, work the equipment. Is there any way, and we talked about this even as we move through that plan, is there any way you can communicate to the public and to the citizens where we are in this plan, and then what the timeline is for addressing their inner city streets and their other matters? To them, to a lot of them who don't come downtown, and to some of them who don't use main thoroughfares, the thing that is most prioritous to them is
what's outside their front door.
What's outside their front door.
Correct.
What's 2 blocks to the left, 2 blocks from the right. So is there any way, when you're communicating the progress made to WTOK, and we got all aspects of media here today, is there any way you can communicate that to the citizens as to where we are and what and when we're going to get started in their areas? That's the first thing. And then second thing, can you or Mr. Partridge kind of give us a quick update as to where we are on the 5th Street project?
Okay. First question. Once we get the PCI done, it will speak volumes to your first comment. Mm-hmm. Let me say that in regards to our plan, the idea was to do the main thoroughfares in the business district first. I would say, from a standpoint of action, we're probably 80% through that from the standpoint of actual results. You hadn't seen all that yet because it's ongoing. So that portion of the plan we're heavily into and actually kind of towards the end of. The PCI component, which is where we would look at all the neighborhood streets and the travel streets, that will help us develop that timeline that you're talking about in regards to what streets are done first and what cycle they're done in. So that's going to speak volumes to your first question. Now, let me say I fully appreciate and understand the concept that I'm only concerned about what's outside my front door.
Yeah.
$7.5 million is not going to pave all the city streets. It's not going to pave them this year, next year. Not going to happen. The whole idea was to develop a program that allowed us to go out and be proactive as much as we could in that dollar amount and address some of our worst areas and also bring value to our main infrastructure, our main thoroughfares. I'm not going to sit here and tell the citizens, with this $7.5 million, your street will be paved tomorrow. Not going to happen. In fact, it was a 5-year process. That alone says, okay, we're going to have to come back to the table at some point and regroup and reassign or reassess where we are. With all that being said, I'm still very excited. I think we're making strides in the right direction. I'm not going to understate the effectiveness of what we're doing, but I want to be realistic. And I appreciate and understand that I'm concerned about what's in my front door. I am too. I'm concerned about all the city streets, but we have to have a process and a method to go out and do that. I'm not going to be able to pave all the city streets in a year with one crew, one milling machine, and one paver. Not going to happen.
We've made that clear, Hugh,
Okay.
that it's 15 to 20% of the streets based on the last project. I mean, we all know that's only 15 or 20%. We just want to know when we've got some streets that are so bad that were let go and never got done with the project, and all of us have maybe 4 or 5 of those streets that we've had citizens ask about. We're just wondering when that
We'll be
time
able to
period-
address those by midsummer.
By midsummer,
Once we
okay.
get our people up, trained, and going, and our
right.
programs off the ground.
That's an answer.
Yeah, we've got to get off the, we've got to get started down the road first.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that answer, the last end of your answer to that first question, and then your response here is something that needs to be relayed.
But that's not everybody's street.
Right.
That's some of the ones we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we'll be able to address some of those streets by midsummer.
Which goes back to, once the ball is actually rolling, it's going to be an ongoing, continuous process, and even though we may not get it this summer.
Correct.
It will still be something that your department is going to be continually looking at throughout the ages.
Ages.
hopefully.
You got to prioritize them, and it's all about increasing the rideability, the usefulness of all our streets. And we can't do that overnight. It's a process, it's a program, and it's on an ongoing basis.
So when we turn in a street or a citizen wants to call, who do they call to tell, give me a phone number, Joe Smith out there has a road tearing up his tires when he tries to go to his house, where do they call?
601-485-1990.
Okay, and then when we send in stuff, how do we know you ever get it?
I communicate, or a member of my staff will communicate with Miss Joanne, either through Richie or directly via email.
So they'll respond back to us.
Through Miss Joanne or through...
I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah, well,
If I send you a street, I will get a response.
yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
On the second comment about the Fifth Street project, we're still on schedule. I don't see any, there have not been any discussion of any type of extensions to the project. We do have an issue that I'm sure that some of y'all are at least aware of. We're working that issue. We have a project status update meeting tomorrow, and we will kind of hash some of those details of that out. I don't want to give a whole lot of incorrect information at this time. Tomorrow I'll be in a better position to give you some direct responses.
So you're going to send that to us?
I can, absolutely.
Mark.
But let me say this. We are on schedule. At this point, there are no anticipated delays to the project.
The completion date is when?
I think the final day of the project is April the 4th, I believe.
Okay.
Or somewhere thereabouts.